Welcome back, everybody. I'm Chandler.
And I'm Celeste.
This is True North Terror.
Welcome back. By the time you all listen to this, Chandler's social will be done.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
Oh, it's 100% going to be super fun and hopefully very successful.
I hope I remember nothing after. What time are we drawing prizes?
Probably midnight.
Midnight?
That's most socials.
I vote 11.
Well, most socials, it's last call for prizes is at 11, and you give them an hour to get their stuff in, because some people aren't going to show up till
It goes till
11.
1?
It goes until 2, I think.
Well, it goes till 2.
I think
it says 1 o'clock on your tickets.
Well, even then, you get prizes, and then there's an hour of, because a bunch of people are going to file out after prizes.
Are you going to call the prizes or just post them?
We're going to call the grand prizes.
Okay.
And then post the regulars.
Because all I'm thinking about is you're going to want to let loose after.
Yeah, you can get an hour of just straight dancing, and there's going to be a ton of people filing out with they didn't win anything, or they want something and they want to go.
Yeah.
And then whatever, problem solved. And then there's an hour of a little bit more space, and whoever wants to just boogie for an hour gets to throw down.
Just need an hour.
And then we just stumble. Lexi and I will stumble into our hotel room and go to sleep. Did you book a hotel room? Mom's booking it on Sunday.
God, you guys, kill me. Literally kill me.
Mom's been our contact person for the whole thing.
Mom,
I don't even have their number.
It was so
I have
funny.
their email because I sent contracts and stuff with them, but they've been dealing with Mom because she had all the contact info and was already knew the person from dealing with yours.
It's not the same person.
It's not? I thought it was.
Okay, so
anyways, this makes me sound
and Mom didn't deal with mine. I did mine like an adult.
Oh, okay.
Because Mom
offered.
Because you weren't doing it. Mom literally was like, she was like, you guys should have been booking the social and stuff. Isn't that what the wedding party does? I'm like, no. I did everything myself. No one did fuck all. I just people helped us set up and that night sell tickets and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But no.
Oh.
But I'm also pretty type A. I would want to do it myself.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's not like she's done everything.
No, you've done a great job.
But I could not have done this without Mom's help. That is 100%.
I can do anything without Mom's help.
No. How have I survived?
Shout out, Mom.
Oof.
I feel like
Best mom ever.
After we're done recording tonight, because we have this one and then another one to record,
mm-hmm.
I think our next episode after that might be the one with Mom.
Yeah.
Or close. Isn't Mother's Day at the beginning of May?
May.
Is it at the beginning?
10th. Second week of May.
But I think we said we were going to do it the week before.
Is... Did we say that?
Yeah.
Okay, we're saying it now.
We're saying it now. Also, I'm putting it into the universe right now. I am manifesting that I win the Kindle package.
I hope you win it.
First of all, the slippers I bought for it look so cute. Second of all, heated blanket. Blake stole mine. Third of all, I spent so much money on books this year.
Yeah.
I have been buying 3 books every 2 weeks.
Holy smokes.
I need to win that Kindle.
We finally won a social prize last weekend.
What'd you win?
We won a date night package. I haven't won a social prize in 4 years.
What was in it? I was going to say I've never won a social prize, but I won a turkey fryer once.
That's sweet. The last one I won were those lamps at my house.
Oh, yeah.
Next to the TV. Those are $600 each. It was a crazy grand prize. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. But we won this date night package, and it's a charcuterie board, a cheese knife set.
They're gift cards?
Gift cards to Spaghetti Factory, across the board.
Oh my god.
DeLuca's.
Spaghetti Factory.
There's some Love Nest gift cards in there, and then
Love Nest and DeLuca's hook you up for your social.
big time.
Yeah.
And then a really nice bottle of wine. It's a California Red, and it's from 2011.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Basically as old as you.
No. Settle down. It's only 15 years old. I'm gonna have mom and dad and Lexi's folks over to enjoy that one. Ugh. It'll be good.
Guess my invite got lost in the mail.
Well, okay, well, we have other booze to drink with you.
Anyways,
if there's any left over, you can have some.
Save me just like a drop.
Yeah.
Save me a drop. Okay, well.
What are we covering?
Franklin's Lost Expedition.
Awesome.
Okay, and this is like the actual site of this is in Canada, but we're starting elsewhere. So everyone chill their tits. This happens in Canada.
Okay.
Okay. I need water first. My throat's dry.
Water. I don't need it. I need it.
Okay. I'm in a goofy mood. Okay. In 1845, 82-year-old leading Admiralty figure Sir John Barrow believed that there was a northwest passage to make traveling between Europe and Asia faster. So instead of going all the way around Africa into Asia, they were convinced that there was a northwest passage around the North Pole, and it was believed this passage would be ice-free. Why did we think that? I don't know. Anyways, Barrow had already done tons and tons of expeditions, and now that he was old and too frail for the journey, he approached other men to take command of this journey. His first choice was a man named Perry, but he was tired of the Arctic, so he was like, no thank you, I'm sick of being frozen. His second choice was James Clark Ross, but he was newly married and promised his wife that he was done his polar exploring. Barrows. Third choice was James Fitzjames, who was declined by the Admiralty because he was too young. Next up was a guy named something back, but after chatting, Barrows decided he was too argumentative. Finally, Barrow approached his fifth candidate.
Okay.
I'm like, you're going to trust your fifth candidate with this important endeavor? Okay. 59-year-old Franklin. It was decided that this expedition would have two ships, the HMS Erebus and HMS Terror. Both had been previously used for James Clark Ross's expedition into Antarctica in 1839 to 1843. Franklin was appointed command of Erebus, and Fitzjames, the guy that they said was too young to lead, was second in command. A man named Crozier was appointed executive officer and was also appointed command of HMS Terror, which he had previously been in command of for the Antarctic expedition, previously. On February 7th, 1845, everyone received their positions. On May 5th, 1845, they received their official orders. Since Franklin wasn't the first choice for the expedition, despite having a few under his belt, the reason he wasn't the first choice is because during a previous expedition, he had ignored warning from the local Inuit people that they should turn around because going forward, they weren't going to find anything to eat. But Franklin was like, no, I'm white. I know more than you. We're going to continue. And turns out that indeed there was nothing to eat. His crew starved, resulting in 11 deaths, and the remaining crew allegedly survived off deer bones and boiled boot leather.
Oh.
Like, just fucking say you ate each other. Okay? Yeah. Desperate times, desperate measures. Happens. No one's judging you. It's fine. Erebus and Terror were both sturdy ships and well equipped. They were both used as Navy bombing ships and got some upgrades to make them better for the polar conditions, including plated hulls to break through the ice. They both had steam engines with a single propeller, which was repurposed from trains. The ships could travel at 7.4 kilometers per hour or could travel with wind power for higher speeds and to conserve fuel. So they were like sail ships, but with motors, like propellers.
Cool.
Yeah. There was also a heating system for crew comfort. and there was a library of over 1,000 books. These were like state-of-the-art ships for the time, best of the best. Like, you got heat, you got books, you got a propeller that's from a train.
Mm-hmm.
You got it all, you know?
Everything you could need.
Yeah. For food provisions, they had over 3 years of food supply, including mostly tinned soup and vegetables, salt, cured meat, and several small cattle. It was later discovered that the huge canned food order had been placed quite last minute, leading to a lack of quality control, which unfortunately led to several of the cans having lead melted into the food. The expedition was expected to last about 3 to 4 years, but they also planned on stopping on land to hunt wildlife. Also, like 3 to 4 years, can you imagine?
Oh,
Just like,
fuck.
bye, honey.
I'll be gone in 4 years.
See you in 3 to 4 years.
What?
Most of the crew were from Northern England, but there were some Irish, Welsh, and Scottish crew members as well. There was even a Canadian from Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia?
The crew was a mix of military and non-military. On May 19th, 1845, with a crew of 24 officers and 100 men, the ships set sail from Greenhithe, Kent. The ships both briefly stopped in northern Scotland to fill up their fresh water. From there, they went to Greenland with a transport ship. The passage to Greenland took about 30 days. Once on the west coast of Greenland, the ships received 10 slaughtered oxen, and the crew wrote their last letters home. At the same time, 5 of the crew members were discharged from the ships due to illness and sent home on the transport ship, leaving the final crew to 129 men. In late July of 1845, whalers Prince of Wales and Enterprise pulled up to Erebus and Terror in Baffin Bay, where the crews explained that they were waiting for good conditions to cross the Lancaster Sound. That was the last time the ships and their crew were ever seen by the Europeans. The years went on, and Sir John Franklin's wife, Lady Jane Franklin, was starting to get worried. It had been 3 years, and she still had not heard from her husband, and the expedition had not come to an end as expected. She went to the Royal Navy and convinced them that they needed to send out some search parties, but she was rejected. This left her to start her own search party. She even consulted clairvoyants. As she started consulting clairvoyants and doing her own research, she continued to harass the Royal Navy, literally even like moved in next door to them so she could be like, "Hello, I'm your neighbor. I'm coming here every day, all day to bug you." Since they were last seen in the area of Lancaster Sound, they did start their search there after a bunch of harassment from his wife. So the Royal Navy decides to put a reward together for any information that can lead to finding the ships and their crew. The reward was 20,000 euros, which today is 4 million euros.
Oh my goodness.
This, of course, lit a fire under the ass of many people to man their ships and head to the Arctic. In 1850, finally they found an abandoned camp off the east coast of Beechey Island, which is close to Baffin Bay. The camp was littered with hundreds of empty food tins as well as some unopened tins, but there were no signs of any human remains. They continued to explore the area, where they came across 3 graves marked as the resting places of John Torrington, John Hartwell, and William Brain. 2 of the men were from the Erebus and 1 was from the Terror, so they knew that the crews were still together when these men died. They finished their search of the island, and then they tried to decide where to go next. This area had tons and tons of little islands. They had no idea where to search. Some of the clairvoyants said that they had actually spoken to John Franklin, and in May of 1849, Jane and her niece Sophia decided to visit the home of a well-known young clairvoyant named Ellen Dawson. Ellen already had a flawless reputation for finding missing jewelry and even missing husbands. Ellen relays that she saw 2 ships surrounded by ice and that she sees one man who is old and stout with a dark face and kind nose, and that he is balding, which was an exact description for Franklin. She also said that she saw 2 portraits of women hanging in his cabin, one of Jane, his wife, and one of Queen Victoria. Ellen also sees men dressed in fur garments eating salted meats, seemingly unbothered. Ellen wasn't able to provide any more details, so Lady Jane decided to seek out the advice of another clairvoyant named Emma. Emma says that one ship is underwater and the other is shipwrecked on shore, but she says that Franklin is still alive along with 4 other men. Desperate for answers, they try to get a location from Emma, but all she can see to give a location is a 7-hour time difference on Franklin's watch, and points to the Hudson Bay area in Canada. Canada, here we are.
Here we are.
Next, Lady Jane consults with someone who's already dead, a little 4-year-old girl that had just passed from typhoid fever who was nicknamed Wheezy.
That's rude. Come on, guys, be better. Hey, Wheezy, go get the socks.
You got the typhoid.
That's fucked.
Wheezy's siblings still chatted with her all the time, saying she was still around, and it even got to the point where the family would start setting up her dinner plate because her siblings were like, "You forgot to put Wheezy's plate down." And they would get upset. Wheezy's Auntie Anne was also a psychic, so Lady Jane consulted her. Anne was able to conjure up the ghost of Wheezy and said that she saw the Arctic Ocean with 2 boats surrounded by ice and literally began to shiver like she could feel the cold air. Anne was able to see the words Erebus and Terror as well as Lancaster Sound, Prince Regent Inlet Point, Victory, and Victoria Channel. Anne even draws an incredibly accurate map of the Arctic despite some of it not even being charted yet.
Whoa.
Wheezy's dad was the witness to all of this and writes to Lady Jane giving all the information, and that is when a memory is sparked for Jane. Franklin had told her that if he gets in trouble, he would sail towards the Great Fish River, which is only about 100 miles south of Canada's King William Island and home to Point Victory, one of the locations that Wheezy saw. With this information, Lady Jane was more desperate than ever to find her husband, and in 1851, she put together her own search, which is super badass for a woman in the 1800s.
Yeah, go girl.
Like, they must have been pretty well off. And directed the search to King William Island. One of her hired explorers named John came across an Inuit man on King William Island, and this Inuit man shared that he had seen some white men. He told John that 4 winters earlier, in 1850, they had seen about 40 men towing a lifeboat over the ice. Their leaders seemed to match the description of John Franklin's deputy, Francis Crozier. The same Inuit man also found the remains of an abandoned camp that contained tons of rotting bodies.
Ugh.
The Inuit man offers to give them directions to this abandoned camp, but then also says that the bodies did show signs of cannibalism.
Oh.
And he even had some souvenirs from the camp to prove that he was there. They showed the explorer John some spoons and other items that were collected from this camp, proving his story. So John writes a letter back to the Royal Navy in London to detail what he has been told, and the Admiralty is like, nope, do not continue, do not pass go. There is absolutely no way that any of our crews would have taken any part in cannibalism. So they tell John not to continue forward with the search. Because they're like, no, not our people. Not the Navy. Like, we can't be known for that.
Certainly not.
Since there were signs of cannibalism, the white people did what they usually do and blamed the Inuit people for murdering and eating their people.
Classic.
Any further reports and information from the Inuit people were completely ignored. On March 31st, 1854, the crew for both ships were officially declared deceased. But Lady Jane was not done. She contracted another private search in 1859, and this one actually proved somewhat fruitful.
Good for her.
The Victory Point note was found, which was a handwritten note on an already pre-printed Admiralty paper. The note was found in a cairn on the northwestern coast of King William Island. A cairn is basically like a pile of rocks that was used as a marker, and they would place notes under the rocks to protect them from the elements. The note said, HMS ships Erebus and Terror wintered in the ice and gave the longitude and longitude points for Beechy Island. After having ascended Wellington Channel to latitude 77 degrees and returned by the west side of Cornwallis Island, Sir John Franklin commanding the expedition, all well. So basically, they're saying that as of this note, Sir John Franklin is still alive. The note was signed to Lieutenant G.M. Gore and mate Shad F. Devois. This part of the note was from 1847. Then there's another part of the note dated April 25th, 1848, that mentions the crew now consisted of 105 souls, so they had lost 24 members. It also says that the command is Captain FRM, Crozier, and Irving found this cairn in the rocks and signed it. Then there was another note saying Sir John Franklin died on June 11th, 1847. And the total deaths in the expedition was 9 officers and 15 men. Signed, James Fitzjames, captain of the HMS Erebus, and Crozier, captain and senior officer. It also said that they were going to start heading to Black's Fish River. Need water. Agua.
Water.
It is believed that the remaining crew walked about 400 kilometers, dying before reaching the nearest Western civilian outpost. There is a story passed on among the Inuit community that detailed an Inuit family coming across some of the Franklin expedition's men while they were still alive. The family claimed that a very small group of men came into their camp and were visibly starving and malnourished. They were unable to speak and were staring off into space, like disassociating.
Oof.
The family invited them into their home and offered them a place to warm and cooked them some seal meat. But the men just sat there like zombies and refused to eat, just staring at the Inuit family and just sat in silence all night. Like drooling, just staring at these people. The family could tell the vibes were off and decided to actually leave their home behind, and even left the men some of their food supplies that they had no reason to follow them. Later on, the Inuit people did return back to their home camp and discovered that every piece of food they left for the men was left uneaten, but all of the men were dead.
What?
So this, this mystery is known as the Arctic zombies because they were like literally zombies in the Arctic. A man named Ken McGigan spent 25 years dedicated to the Franklin expedition. He's a publisher, author, and when the ships were discovered, he started looking into reports that were credible from the Inuit people. Almost all the reports he uncovered detailed that the men were moving across King William Island completely out of it, and Ken came to the conclusion that this was possibly due to food poisoning from the polar bears. There's a parasite common in uncooked meat that causes a disease called trichinosis, which is deadly because it is around worms in your brain. So it's believed that after the first 3 men died, the others started to panic and tensions started to arise as the remaining men were worried that they would be next. Between this and the lead poisoning from the canned food, which like lead poisoning also makes you go crazy.
Yeah, that would get you.
It's likely that all of these men pretty much went insane and started eating each other, which is why they call them the Arctic zombies.
Jeez.
From the 1920s to 1980s, archaeologists started excavations of King William Island and Beechey Island. This led to the discovery of more remains, and after forensic studies, it was found that most died from lead poisoning and scurvy, and there were indeed signs of cannibalism.
Whoa.
In 2014, Parks Canada launched a search using new sonar, underwater drones, and ice-penetrating sonar. They also worked with the Inuit community to listen to their stories. The largest discovery happened. HMS Erebus was discovered mostly intact near King William Island. Then, in 2016, HMS Terror was found preserved in deeper, colder waters. Both ships were very well preserved and allowed researchers to paint a better picture of the final months aboard with the help of Inuit oral stories passed down generation after generation. The Erebus showed an overall lack of evidence that the crew was hunting. There was no animal remains aboard, which matched the evidence found on land that there wasn't any animal bones or remains. They were also super malnourished. The ships were also exactly where the Inuit said they would be. Shocker.
Wow.
After nearly 170 years, the final pieces of the missing Franklin expedition were finally uncovered.
Jesus.
And of course, there's some hauntings.
Oh, yeah.
There have been reports of ghostly figures appearing around the ships. Previously, Arctic explorers and even modern-day researchers have reported feeling a strange presence in the area and seeing figures moving around the area as if they're still working on the ships.
Whoa.
The 3 grave sites found on Beechey Island also are reportedly haunted, with people reporting that they feel unsettled and like they're being watched near the gravesite and have even heard voices. A few scuba divers that were exploring the sunken ships also said they felt unsettled when inside the ships. Some of them even felt like they were going to pass out, and others said they heard footsteps above them and voices. There are a few museums where you can find some of the artifacts that were found among the ships and the islands, and people report that they feel super heavy when examining these items as well. And that's the Franklin expedition. That's crazy.
Cool,
like 150-year mystery.
That's wild.
Like, of course they're eating each other.
100%.
They're all eating each other.
Yeah, every time.
Like, I would.
Yeah, no option.
Yeah.
Why what else are you gonna do?
Exactly. But yeah, that's that.
That's wild.
Yeah, interesting story. Also, I I wanted to tell you about Blake's surgery. Did I tell you about this yet?
No.
Okay, so Blake had her hernia surgery on Monday. And they like put the mask on her, like the anesthetic mask.
Yeah.
And she was already in the operating room, like we weren't with her. And I was like, how high did you count when they put the mask on? She's like, I didn't count. I screamed. Like,
what? What?
It's the saddest thing I've ever heard. If anyone needs to get surgery for their little people, like, just know it's going to be traumatic.
Yeah.
And they're going to be miserable little people when they wake up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's the spooks on that.
That was spooky.
It's different. It's different.
It was fun though.
Yeah. Go Lady Jane, you badass bitch.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. She must have known like someone in the Navy or something though.
Yeah.
Like they obviously had money, but
oh, big time.
Yeah. And it's so annoying though, like they're so close and then the Navy's like, do not continue. We cannot be associated with cannibalism. It was the Inuits.
Yeah. Of course.
Like, okay.
Just blame them.
And you're all the way out there and you're just gonna stop looking.
Yeah, like come on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Okay.
Wow. Well, stay spooky, True Northers.
Terror is closer than you think.
Especially in the north. Ugh.
Oh. Thank you for joining us for another episode of True North Terror. If you like our podcast, please help us grow by leaving a rating and review. If you have a story you want us to hear, or your own personal story you want to hear on the pod as a listener story, email us at truenorthterrorpod@gmail.com. Join us next week for another episode of True North Terror.